What's up, guys? It's your boy Miggle. You already know this is MTV. The M is for Miggle Money Motivation. And today I'm going to cover with you guys everything you need to know about credit repair. So if your credit score is below a 700 and you're paying super high interest rates, you're getting denied for loans, credit, you name it, and you're not able to get any sort of funding, then this one secret credit loophole is going to save your butt. So pay attention. Decided to talk about this topic because this is going to help you bring whatever low score you have and bring it up to the 700s plus. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what is credit repair, who is this for, how can it benefit you, what does the actual process look like to get credit repair. We're going to talk about the different expectations on how long it takes to get these types of negatives off your file. And if you stay towards the end, I'm going to even talk about how you could do it yourself and get it removed so you don't have to pay any money. And then we'll even talk about done for you options so you don't have to take the time to try to go out and learn this yourself and screw up and mess up. So we got a lot of information in for you guys today, and I'm super excited to walk you guys through it. The beauty of credit repair too is a lot of times if it's negative and it's not accurate, we need to get those off, but it gives people a second chance if they made some mistakes or could use help getting a second chance to recover and not letting these negatives haunt their life for the next 7 years. So let's get them disputed and get them off your file. We're going to be going through a lot. So if any of this isn't news to you, make sure to just go ahead and skip around. I'm going to have the different chapters to where you can skip it in the links below. But let's talk about what is credit repair. So credit repair is the process of strategically writing out legal dispute letters and also getting on the phones with these creditors and bureaus to dispute these negatives and inaccurate information off your credit file. Like any system in the world, nothing's ever completely perfect. So the credit reporting system is flawed and it's bound to have some sort of errors in them. In fact, a lot of them actually have a lot of inaccurate info. So according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, this gives you the right to actually dispute any derogatory, inaccurate information on your credit file. And the best part about this is it's on the creditor/bureau to be the one to prove you wrong. So in America, you are innocent until proven guilty, the same way with credit repair. And the unique thing with this process is each bureau only has 30 days to verify each negative disputed item. And for those who don't know how big a deal that is, it is absolutely huge because the fact that they only have such a short timeline, 30 days to prove you wrong, means we could leverage that disadvantage to work for our benefit. For major big companies, they have thousands of accounts, maybe even millions of accounts of people across the US. Do you think they really have the time to get a whole team to answer your dispute letters and prove you wrong? Most likely, more often than not, they don't. They don't have the information, and even if they do, it's gonna take a long time before they can meet that 30-day requirement. And if they don't get that evidence in time, then they legally have to take it off your file. And as the old saying goes, whoever smelt it, dealt it. Oh wait, hold on, sorry, wrong one. If thou who shall not be able to prove it, they must remove it. All right, cool. So now we know what credit repair is, then who actually needs this? Great question. So anybody who has any negatives on their credit file could really get benefit from going through the credit repair dispute process. Right now, I'm gonna go through the 10 most common negative items on your credit report. There's a long list of them, but here are the most common. All right, the number one most common negative on your credit file is gonna be collections. A lot of people get like medical collections, but basically when you get a collection is when you have a past due account that's turned over to a collections agency. So they don't cease the efforts altogether, but you are late. They sell it off to a third-party partner who's just basically gonna harass you until you pay back the money, or at least a percentage of it. And my biggest tip with this is, yes, it's gonna hurt your score, but I'm about to put you guys on game. Never, ever, 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 ever pay your collections. The reason being is because even if you pay your collections, it's still gonna stay on your credit file. So your credit file is still gonna look like crap and you paid money. So it's like, what the heck, why would I do it? So here's a little quick secret, is a lot of times, if this is, especially if it's inaccurate, you could just get it removed. So here's a quick little story. I had a friend who had a $6,000 medical collection. All I did was I wrote a dispute legal letter to the bureaus, and the debt collector told them to prove it. They couldn't within 30 days. So what happened was we disputed it off her file. So it was no longer showing on her file. Her credit score went up, and best part is she did not have to pay the $6,000 back. That is absolutely crazy. The most common is what's called a charge-off. This is when you're so late on your payments that they actually just give up and they don't even try to get your debt anymore. Number 3 is late payments. This is probably one of the most common negative items on your credit file. This is, you know, let's say you got a credit card payment and you haven't made the on-time at least minimum payment within 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, then it's really gonna hurt your score. Obviously, the later it is, the worse it's gonna be. So with late payments, if it's not too late, you could actually negotiate with the creditor and see, you know, if they'd be willing to just let you pay a percentage of it. And you could even sometimes negotiate them to not report it if you pay it off. So it's all dependent on the creditor. The 4th type of negative, I hardly call this a negative, but it's getting hard inquiries. So this is anytime a creditor pulls your credit score. So if you're applying for a mortgage, they're gonna be pulling your credit score. If you're applying for a car loan, they're gonna be pulling a credit card, anything. Hard inquiries usually don't have too big of an impact on your credit score, but if you got a lot, general rule of thumb is they take at least anywhere between like a 5 to 10 points credit score hit. The 5th one is foreclosures. So, you know, you can't make the payments on your mortgage, then you're screwed. It's gonna stay on your file. Bankruptcies, this is really bad. So anytime your business just goes all to crap, then you have to file the bankruptcy and you lose everything. Repos, so on your car, if you can't make the car loan, then you're screwed. Student loans, if you're not paying them out on time. The other types of negatives, if you just have incorrect information on your profile. So sometimes they'll misspell your name, they'll have the wrong addresses, stuff like that, which is actually something good in your benefit, because anytime they have incorrect profile information, it actually gives you more leverage when you go out and dispute all these other negatives. You could also dispute fraudulent accounts that are on your profile that you've never done. But those are like the top 10 most common ones, but that's not limiting to them. You could write off, or not write off, you could dispute tax liens, child support, all that stuff. So a lot of these stuff stay on your file for years. For example, like a bankruptcy, late payment, collections, those things stay on your file for 7 years, and you're just gonna keep getting screwed because it's staying on your file. Instead, what you could do is legally get it disputed and get it removed within 90 days, sometimes a little bit longer. Something like a bankruptcy, that could take anywhere between 6 months and a year. But it's a hell of a lot better than having to wait 7 years versus just a couple months. All right, so how can this actually benefit you? If you haven't already gotten the picture, then let me spell it out in black and white for you. So there are 5 key things. That's not just limited to 5, but 5 key reasons why you'd want to go the credit repair route. So if you're going after a car loan, you know, you're going to want to have good credit, because if you don't, you're going to be paying really high interest rates, or you're not going to get approved at all for the loan. Same with home loans. If, especially now at the time of this video being recorded, interest rates are super high. And if you don't have a 700 plus credit score, then that thing's going to be shooting up even higher on the interest rate. You're going to be spending over a 30-year loan. A couple percentage points could be the difference between spending tens and thousands of dollars extra in interest to hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. So make sure you get it right. The 3rd thing, and the thing I specialize in a lot, is business funding. So whether you're trying to get business lines of credit, business credit cards, business loans, it all comes down to your personal FICO score. So we need to have that in check. Now, the other big thing is just general credit card approvals. you know, we use credit all the time, and if you don't, you should already be doing it because there's so many perks and benefits like cash back, travel points that you could be taking advantage of to use for your everyday spend. So you want to get the best top tier cards. And then probably honestly what you guys are all after is we don't want to be paying any more interest than we need to do. And then if you could avoid making any payments at all, that's even the best. So what I mean by that is if you have late payments and you don't need to pay it or collections or something like that, then why the hell would I do that if I could just dispute it? So those are your top 5 reasons. I'm sure you guys can come up with 100 more. All right, so this is probably the biggest, juiciest part that you probably all been waiting for is what does the process look like and how do I actually do it myself? So I'm gonna walk you exactly step by step on what that process looks like. Now, the first step is you're gonna wanna run your credit score for free. You got a couple resources that I could give you. Never pay for it if you don't have to. A lot of companies, they'll try to charge you 20, 30 bucks a month just to use that. You got free resources like creditkarma.com that shows your TransUnion and Equifax scores. But the key thing to know is with Credit Karma, it's showing your Vantage score versus your FICO score. Your Vantage is more of an estimate, but it's still gonna show all those negatives on your credit file that you're gonna be able to identify. The second option you could go through is Experian.com. That's your real FICO score, but just with the Experian Credit Bureau, and that'll show your full credit file. Something to note is some negatives might report on different bureaus and not on the others. So if you have some on TransUnion, but it's not reporting on Equifax or Experian, that's totally fine. The third and final option is you're legally allowed to get a free full credit report once a year. So if you go to myannualcreditreport.com, it'll pop up your true FICO scores and credit reports for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, all for free. Step 2 is to identify any negatives on your score or any inaccurate information on your personal info. Like I mentioned earlier, if there's any inaccuracies on there, that actually is gonna be something we could leverage once we start disputing and gonna make a better case for us. So names spelled wrong or your address is incorrect, then that's gonna be in our favor. So start going through with a highlighter, start highlighting any late payments, collections, bankruptcies, you name it. The fun part is we're gonna start filling out the dispute letters. So there's different dispute letters for each type of negative. If you guys want to get a copy of some different types of credit repair dispute letters, then shoot me a comment, letters, and I will personally send you those copies that you could fill out all by yourself. It'll tell you the exact directions on how to do it step by step. Once you have these letters, you're gonna fill out a letter for each negative item on each bureau. So if you have, let's say, a bankruptcy that's reporting on Equifax and Experian, then you're gonna fill out 2 separate ones. If it's on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, then we're sending for all 3. Then from there, for each letter, we need to attach our personal info to have proof that it's us. So we're gonna send our proof of address, ID, etc. All right, now stop. Do not send those letters out just yet. There's a super crucial important part that you cannot do when you're sending these letters is never, ever, ever sign with a wet signature on these letters because that could get you in a lot of trouble. So just make sure you're just filling it out, typing it out. Don't do a wet signature. Now we're gonna send out these letters. You're gonna go to your post office or whatever UPS, I don't care. Use whatever you want to do. You're gonna send these with certified mail. Costs a couple bucks, but you need to do it. Why this is important is because this tracks once they've received the letter because they have to sign on it. And as soon as they sign on it and say that they've received it, that's when the time starts dropping on the hourglass for when they have to send you proof. So that's when the 30-day period starts, is when they receive it. And if they aren't able to prove it within 30 days, they legally have to get it removed off your credit file because it's unfair and they cannot prove it. And so like all things, nothing's ever foolproof, but sometimes they'll take it off. In most cases, they'll take it off on the first dispute. Other times it might take multiple rounds to get the negatives removed. And that means we move on to the second round, the third round, however many rounds of letters it takes. And basically with each round, they might say they have a little bit of evidence, but then you dive deeper into like, show me the Carfax. Just kidding. But show me like all the facts towards everything. So you're basically making a case and it makes it harder and harder for them to actually prove approve what you are disputing. All right, let's break down the expectations. Like I said, nothing's ever foolproof, but this is generally how the system works. So when it comes to getting things like late payments and collections, usually that's 30 to 90 days to get removed. I've actually even seen them get removed within weeks. It all just depends on the creditor and the bureau. So there's a lot of moving factors on it, but you just got to trust the process and be patient. That's the biggest thing that's important with this. Big things like foreclosures and bankruptcies, those things, they take 6 months to a year to dispute off, but hey, it beats having to wait 7 years for them to fall off naturally. Inquiries are actually one of the easiest things to remove off your file. Those things, they could take 24 hours to sometimes 30 days, depending on the bureau. And when it comes to sending these letters, each round typically takes 30 days to hear back. So keep that in mind when you're going through the process, because you're gonna wanna be patient. This isn't something that happens overnight, but like I said, a couple months is a hell of a lot better than a couple years. One thing to note is when you are doing credit repair, it is very important that it goes well from the beginning, just because if you've already done a round of dispute letters, then you try to outsource somebody else to try to do it for you. It makes their job a little bit harder. It's not impossible, but if you've already kind of tried taking it a crack out on your own and you didn't really know what you're doing, then this can make it a little harder to try to get it removed in the following rounds. For those who, they just want to get this thing done the right way from the very beginning, and they don't have the time to go through all the heartache going through YouTube University, they'd rather focus on their business or their personal life more, then there is a solution just for you. It's called Done For You Credit Repair. Now, this option's perfect because you literally don't have to do anything. All you got to do is send the service provider your credit information, so letting them get access to seeing your credit report, and they're going to do all the work, send all the dispute letters, they're going to do all the calls and get those bad boys removed off your file. Two key main things you want to look out for when you are deciding which credit repair company to work with. So number one most important thing is never work with a credit repair company that works off of a subscription model basis. Why? Because let's say it only takes you 30 days to get it removed. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to try to drag this process out as long as they can, because they have no incentive to get it done. So if they're charging you, let's say $200 a month, they're gonna try to milk it for all they've got instead of just getting it removed right from the get-go. So don't go through the subscription route. The second thing I look out for is, do they have a guarantee? If somebody has a guarantee, then you have nothing to lose. You literally don't have to pay if it doesn't get removed. And luckily for you guys, and no shame in the shameless plug, that is something my credit repair company does. So it's a one-time fee for each negative item, and it gets removed off of all the bureaus. And number two is you don't pay if we don't succeed. So you have nothing to lose. It's guaranteed. It's as safe as it gets. The increased likelihood of achievement is through the roof. I'm getting red in the face, and we finally gotten to the end of the video, thank God. So I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk. So what did we learn today? We learned, what is credit repair? Who is it for? How can it benefit me? How does the process look like, and how do I actually do it myself? And then we also talked about the expectations on it, being patient, how long it actually takes, and what to do if you don't want to have to go through the process and make the mistakes is going through a Done For You credit repair system. That is also something my company offers as well. So if that is something you want to take advantage of, then we're more than happy to hop on a strategy session. We'll help you out. But even if you don't want to do it with us, or you'd rather do it yourself, I'm really grateful that you guys got a lot of value and actually stuck with us to the very end to learn how all this stuff works. If you do want to do a hassle-free Done For You way of doing things, then hit the link. I'm going to post it down below to book a call, and we'll weigh out your options and let you know how we could help. Or you could just comment the words repair and we'll get you taken care of. But as usual, this is MTV. The M is for Miggle, money, motivation. Peace out. Much love. Stay beautiful. Oh wait, almost forgot. So one more key surprise and hookup I got for you guys is because this company is just now starting off, I want to get testimonials, I want to get referrals, and I want to help people out and prove that this method and model works. So for people who are joining me, if you follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube, every month I'm going to be choosing a follower and a subscriber at random to hook them up with getting them funding, whether it's for your business or anything you want to invest in. It's all on you, and I'll do it absolutely free. So stay tuned for more. We're going to blow up. Let's go. Peace.